We are back at the Who is Will Sims podcast. I've got John Amoriello here. He's another local singer-songwriter just like me. He's been around for a hot minute.
Yes, sir.
Played in some bands, writes some great music. John, how you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Cool, man. We I think we met like a few years ago when you were in From Nothing. We were playing in a lot of shows together.
One of my favorite shows was with you with the Puddle of Mudd.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's such a cool show, man.
The Puddle of Mudd show was...
Yeah, and they ended up killing it, too.
They were, yeah.
For too long. They played for like 2 hours.
I couldn't remember which one we played because there was two different ones. There was one that I just ran lights for, and then there was the one that I played.
No, the one you played, we played too. Because they used our gear and he broke Steve's drum head.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and Steve was like, "Should I go buy another?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, like I remember the first one they did. Like the band showed up, and the singer was like not even like he was still like they were waiting for his plane to land or something.
Yeah.
So like literally all the other opening bands had finished. And then they were like, all right, we're going to send someone to the airport now to pick him up.
Well, I think that happened at ours, too.
Okay.
He was late. He was definitely late. It wasn't too late, but I just remembered that...
You didn't know him for twice, did you?
No. I think what happened was that we were supposed to be direct support because they were using our equipment. And then they knew he was going to be late, so unfortunately, I mean, we're team players, so we switched because the other band... Man, I don't remember their name, but they were good. And they did originals, but they also had a whole arsenal of covers.
Yeah.
So he wanted them to play longer in case he didn't show up. And I'm like, it's no problem, but we're not taking the drums down, are we?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Remember, they set the drums up next to the riser, and they were cool with that. It was just weird, man. It was a weird set, but I just remember they opened with Drift and Die, and they played the intro for like 10 minutes because he would still pull it up. You remember that?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That was definitely the one, like, they played... I feel like they came and they played, like...
Forever.
Well, no. The other one, they played forever. I feel like the one we played, they came and they played, like... 7 or 8 songs and then rolled out.
No,
and then the next time they came back, they played for like 3 hours.
No, they played for 3 hours because we wanted our shit back and we couldn't get it off stage. Well, I remember it was like he started breaking out covers. You remember?
Yes, I remember they were playing like Elton John and
then we did a deep dive of like, oh my god, they actually have an album out.
Yeah,
and it's nothing but covers. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't bad.
I mean, they were pretty solid for like, you know.
Yeah. I just remember the audience was getting smaller and smaller because they're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah. I've heard the songs I want to hear.
And he's not freaking out.
They played the hits too early, and then they just kept going.
And they played my favorite song from Jump Street. You know, that's one of my favorite songs by them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I love that song. But yeah, it definitely was the one, we played the one with you where they played for like 2 hours because we were like, man, I just want to pack our stuff up. And
I remember like Brian, who was like the booking agent, was just like, like one more song is in like just play one more and then wrap it up. Not like
don't play,
not like an encore.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday because my drummer's like, it was like 2:30. I want to say they got done almost at 1 o'clock. It was late.
It was pretty. Yeah. It was definitely like it was a bit much.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think I met him for like 20 seconds the entire time. You know what I mean? I didn't think you could have a conversation. I'm like, hey, how you doing, chick man? Right on stage.
Yeah, sometimes I'll try to like get like a poster signed or something.
I didn't even think about that. I totally should have done that.
I've got a bunch of them somewhere that are in frames that like whenever I would open for a like a headliner band, if I could catch them like in the room setting up, I'd just be like, hey man, you might sign this real quick.
You know, that's funny, man. And I never even thought about that and I'm a big autograph guy. Like my entire basement, I'll buy it offline or auctions. I love, if there's a band I like, ain't nothing cooler than having an album signed. I like just bought an Ace Frehley album signed. That was my birthday present to myself. And I never even thought about that. I could have had PE, we went with them for a while, Butcher Babies.
Yeah.
Even when we did, you were there too for 10 years. Didn't you do the show for Hawk? Kevin Hawk did a big show outside, and 10 years was the headliner. If you weren't on there,
I may have been there.
I know we
can't
went
remember.
on early. But I mean, they were there.
There's a cool one I did where it was the singer from Smile Empty Soul,
Yeah,
Sean
yeah.
Danielson, and it was just, I don't know, it was like a last minute thing. They were like, "Hey, we need an opener," and so I
Nice.
went and played acoustic.
Well, you got
And-
a whole arsenal too, man. You got a bunch of originals and covers.
And yeah, like did a quick acoustic set. He didn't really have any merch. All he had was like just like he had like Small Empty Soul stuff,
Yeah.
and then like his like one solo thing he had done, and then like so I had to buy like a Small Empty Soul poster, and he signed that
sign
for
it.
me, which was cool. But
Well, you know, it's funny. Puddle of Mudd only had shirts that literally just said Puddle of Mudd on it. And the girl that we had working merch worked. I remember them paying us an extra $100 to work their merch table.
Nice.
And I'm like, maybe we'll sell some more shirts if they, you know, and it like didn't happen. All the Puddle of Mudd shirts, like everybody bought a Puddle of Mud shirt,
Yeah.
like maybe one or two.
should have did like a deal like,
I
well, if you
know.
buy a Puddle of Mud shirt, we'll give you half off of one of these
Right?
shirts.
But it was like the most generic T-shirt ever. Like, he probably stopped at Kmart or Walmart or whatever it's called, and it was that. No like pictures of them. It just said Puddle Mud and $30, and people were buying them like hotcakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were some good crowds at those shows. Those were,
That was a good crowd. That was probably my favorite show. It was probably the most successful show we were a part of.
Yeah.
I know that was the one time we got paid handsomely because of the obviously ticket sales. It was up there, and clearly because it was Puddle Mud.
yeah. So I always like to I like to ask like where your music journey sort of began.
Oh,
Like
sure.
what was an album you bought or something that like just kind of
Well, you know,
sparked your interest
yeah.
in music?
Well, you know, I'm older. I'm in my 50s. Believe it or not, I'm 53 now.
You look great.
Thank you. That's why we called it Old Man Jones. It's not. I'm not Old Man Jones. It's old man as in I'm older and still jonesing to play music.
Yeah.
And I think for me, my sister had albums, and I just happened to catch my eye, and I saw Kiss's Destroyer, and I'm like, that's awesome. You know, you didn't have MTV, you didn't have hardly TV back then. You know, you had 3 channels, and I remember in like '85, my dad got Comcast. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But before that, I don't know, somehow I saw Kiss on TV and Ace Frehley lighting up his guitar, lighting it on fire, and I'm like, that was just the coolest thing to me, and I wanted to do that. And that's what sparked my interest. I wanted to have my first guitar, like everybody, was an acoustic, and you know I'm a lefty, so they put it in my hands. I'm like, no, I gotta do this. They're like, no, do this. I'm like, no, it's like this, and it's upside down. And it was my neighbor. She gave me the guitar, and I'm holding it. And I told my mom, I'm like, I want to get guitar lessons. And at that point, I was probably 12. So I went to, believe it or not, Perry Hall Music. And my first lesson was him restringing a guitar for me, for a lefty. And I just picked it up and went for it from there. I actually took lessons for about 2 years from them. And I think my musical palette went from everywhere. When you're in the late 80s, you could listen to Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Van Halen, Michael Jackson, Billy Idol. You know, all that stuff was popular. So I was all over the spectrum until I heard Ride the Lightning from Metallica. And I'm like, what was that? You know what I mean? It was just the next level of music. And I think my first, believe it or not, to go back and forth, my first concert was Kiss. So when I saw that live, I'm like, all right, this is definitely what I want to do. I want to play music. And, you know, obviously the 1 in a million shot of doing what they're doing, but you could still play music and write music, and I think that's where it started. Probably seeing a first live concert, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm on board. That's what I want to do.
Did you ever have like some like high school or college bands you played in or anything
I
like that?
did. I was actually in a really, believe it or not, I had a lead singer that I went to school with at EVT. His name's Tom Garrison, and he kind of looked like Ann Asbury from The Call. And we met at EVT. I actually went to EVT for 2 years. I went to Overly. And we just befriended each other, and we, you know, the Love album was big from '84. This was '90 for high school for me. No, not '90, '80, '86. Dude, it was right around there. I keep thinking 1990s, 10 years ago. So we bonded with that, and we like, let's start a band. And he had a buddy named Mark, and Mark was just amazing on guitar. But I don't remember Mark wasn't available, so my buddy Mike came in, and I played bass. And we had a band called Strange as Angels after the Cure line, you know? And we played the Cult, the Cure, the Mighty Lemon Drops, all that progressive stuff. When I was like 16 playing clubs, and it was neat. Or, you know, who knows how good it was? There's no video of it, but I mean, people dug it.
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
I'll like, oh, here's a whole video, and then I look at it, I'm like, man, we're out of tune. I'm not in key. Like,
I didn't have a tuner.
Yeah.
When I was on my bass, I was like, bing, bang, you know. The worst thing you could do is tune live. Probably doing that.
Yeah.
But my buddy Mike was good, and I think we did that for several years where we played The Rage. If you're a little younger, I don't know if you remember, there's a place called The Rage down on Calvert Street.
No.
It was like a heavy metal or rock bar. We played there, and Maxwell's. It was called Maxwell's, which is like the golf place over at Perry Parkway now. And it was fun for about a good year and a half. We did that. It was fun. We did covers, REM. We do all that stuff. And then I think my first time actually playing guitar, because I always play guitar, is me and my buddy Sam and my drummer I've known for 30 years, which was From Nothing Steve. We're starting a band, original band. And Tom, I think, moved away, and we had like 4 or 5 originals. And I'm like, guess I'm singing, you know. And they were like, dude, you sound good. And I was scared. I was like nervous, you know. And I'm like, I guess I'll do it. And it just ended up being something I stuck with. I always make the joke. I said, if I could just sit up there and play guitar, I would love to.
Yeah.
But it's just not in the cards, I guess. Or maybe it's because of the writing. I'm just used to doing it. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you definitely have a very unique voice, and I think you have a really great ear for like melody.
No, thank you.
Like the way you kind of like you'll put your phrases together and stuff.
Ooh, I appreciate
like
that.
I feel like it makes each line stand out more as opposed to like I'm very wordy with my singing, and I have to like cut back on the amount of words. Like I'll go through when I'm recording and be like, I don't need this word. I don't need this word. I'll try to like make it more melodic and less wordy.
I get jealous, like guys like you and Benny Cloud, because you guys could write lyrics and just remember them. And I'm like, if I write that many lyrics, I'm going to need a prompter. So, and you guys, I mean, it's not that it's wordy, it's great. It's just that like he's writing stories, and I'm like, how do you remember your lyrics? I have a hard time now, and mine aren't that. It's like you said, it's not much. It's real cut and dry. I mean, it's literally 3 chords of the truth.
When it comes to like learning, well, when you write your own songs, it's a little different, especially like if you record them, because once you're in the studio, it's like you have to sing it so many times, it kind of gets burned in.
Do you like doing vocals?
Yeah, I love doing.
I
love doing vocals.
I hate you. I can't. I do it.
Sorry.
No. You're good.
I always like I'll do demos, and I hate how I sound on my demos. But I know like when I go into the studio and it's a good mic, and we're doing like the real thing, I can really like focus on honing it in and getting it to sound great. But yeah, in general, there's times where I'll listen to I'll do like a rough run through of a vocal part, and I'll be like, I don't like these words. I don't like how I'm singing it. Like, but usually by the time the song's finished, I'm like, all right, like this.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
works.
I don't want to say I hate doing vocals. I think I don't like hearing myself sing in the headphones because I don't know. It kind of freaks me out. I don't know. It's weird. I always leave one ear off. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, I usually do that when I do harmonies because like sometimes
you want to hear.
I want to hear what I'm doing clearly.
Right. No, I get it. That makes sense. But no, my biggest thing is the way we do it. I go in, obviously you do your scratch track, then I do guitars, and then I do vocals, and then Kyle will usually go behind and do bass once all that's done. And I swear every time I get a song, I'm like, yeah, that was good. And then as well as I do, you listen to your own stuff 100 times to make sure it sounds good. Once, like literally after we say, yeah, that sounds good, I'm like, oh, nah, could have done that better. And it's like, do you let it go? Do you go back in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's funny is like, I think of like, whenever I think of stuff like that, I mean, obviously, when you work with someone like Tony, like he'll pick out like those things ahead of time, and like
No,
and then if it's something that like is off like in your head, a lot of times it's just like something that's bugging you. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that's wrong, but it's just like I don't know if I would have did that way.
Kyle does that for me, and actually he's solely one of his things that I tell him is that you need to talk me off the ledge and tell me that it's good, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'll you know, there'll be times where, like, I've recorded a song. It's actually we're actually struggling with the title. We're going with the words "poor me," but it's a play on because at the very end I say a drink. So people are like, oh, you spelled it wrong because it's POOR. And I'm like, Mom, we're doing POUR because it's pour me a drink. So I'm thinking about just calling it pour me a drink. I don't know. But the point I'm making is I did that song, and it was like one take. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not touching that again. And then that was like the first time it's ever happened. I'm like, if I could do that every time, I'm good. But usually it's never that. Ever, ever, ever. I struggle with singing.
Yeah. Like, I always say this about... It's kind of like how I imagine what it is for like a stand-up comic. Like,
right.
Like when you imagine it in your head, imagining how you're going to say something in your head is not the same as like when you actually have to say it.
Yes.
And it never comes out the right way. It never comes out the way you thought it would sound.
Absolutely.
So it's like you kind of have to have to hone that and figure out how it works in your actual voice instead of how it sounds in your head.
Like, and I don't know how many times this happens, but I could sing it 100 times perfectly on the way to the studio. But when you get there, it's like it's red light syndrome probably. And I don't have that, so to speak, where I'm like nervous. It's just, it's real this time. And that's right here in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. Like I did the thing you're going to do with Brad on the 20th of February.
Yeah.
I did one, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, because that was actually the first time I've ever played solo acoustically in my life. Believe it or not, it was the first time. And I did our song "Shine Your Light," and because it's a little slower, a little softer, it allowed me to kind of mess around with the vocal a little bit. Even Kyle, he looks at me and goes, "Why do you do that in the studio?" I'm like, could go back. We could go back and do it, but I don't want to. But I'm like, God, man, do you think of ways to do it? Even that song was recorded a year ago. You're still thinking of ways to do it better.
Yeah,
so
songs evolve over time.
Yeah.
You realize, like, oh, man, I could have did this, or we could do this, and, that's the fun part about doing them live, is, like, they kind of get a second life.
I love that. If I go see a band like Tool, you might as well just stay home and have some drinks and listen to them on the couch. They are that good live. I like hearing a live band, and then they change it up, or the flexion of his voice is different, and I'm like, oh, man, I like the way he sang that there. That to me is live,
Yes, there's a lot of singers that that's how they are. They're like machines, man. But I always appreciate someone that can sing it a little differently,
Absolutely.
give it like a different kind of emotion.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot of times when I'm covering songs. It's like there's times where, I'm trying really hard to sing it the way that it was written, and then there's times where, like, it feels natural to do it my own way.
Absolutely. I'd always make not a joke, it'd be true. I would be in a cover band tomorrow if I could remember somebody else's lyrics. I don't know how you do it. And you guys had a 100-song catalog or something like that, didn't you?
Well, it helps that we were doing a lot of popular songs that I knew already, but I did have a routine for like memorizing the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, I would basically get the lyrics on my phone, and I would memorize a verse, and I'd have to be able to sing that verse without the music, and get through all the lines without messing up, and then I could move on to the chorus.
That's crazy.
The good news is the chorus is like usually half the song.
Right.
And then all you gotta do is learn the two verses and the chorus, and you're done.
You make it sound so easy, but every time I've never done karaoke, and that's in front of me. You know what I mean? It's just, I would love, if I could remember lyrics, I would dabble with that. It'd be fun. But for me, I would remember stuff. I write it down a few times. If I wrote the lyrics down, I remember we did a couple one-song covers. But remember, we would do that other guys from different bands would get together and do those shows for Kevin.
Yes.
I did a couple of those, and we did a Clutch song, and then we did. Remember the Guilty Pleasure? We did "Lips of an Angel" by Hinder.
Yes, I remember that.
It was me, Mike from Raventree, and then was Breakforth. My God, why am I blanking? Matt, not Weitzel.
Matt.
Yeah. We did that, and that was an easy song. Everybody knows it. I'm still like, all right, I'm writing it down like 5 times to remember it. I still messed it up.
Yeah, people love that song, man. It's a good song.
Guilty pleasure song,
Yeah.
man. But it's up there, you know. You can't deny that it's not a good song, you know.
So, the music of yours that I'm most familiar with is the From Nothing EP.
Sure,
I think
yeah.
I had that, and I had it playing in my car for a good while. My favorite song was "Manic in the Race to Hell." I
love
felt like
that
that was
song.
just a
Thank you.
like a bitchin' song, but it great songs all across the EP.
Yeah, Tony did that. That's the one we did with Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember listening to that a lot, and then we played a bunch of shows together. I know you released some other stuff after that, but that was like
Yeah, that was our physical copy, first ever album, the EP put out. And
that might have even been before like I really even had Spotify or like really anyone had Spotify. I might have been around, but
I think it was 2015. No, yeah, it was 2015. Was Spotify out then? I don't know.
I it might have been around, but I know that like streaming music wasn't like as big of a deal.
Yeah,
back then.
no. I mean,
We were still buying CDs from each other, and downloading it on iTunes.
I know vinyl's super. And I buy a lot of vinyl, but I mean, I was buying CDs up until my new car didn't have a CD player.
Yeah.
So like, all right, guess I'm going all digital now. But
yeah.
yeah,
I did listen through some of the other ones. Another one that I really liked was Worldwide Novocaine.
yeah, that won us the Maryland Music Award.
Nice.
Yeah, for best. And I mean, I'll never say that stuff fixed because I had no idea we were even nominated.
I've heard that from a few people.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Which is kind of like how I would want it to be.
Absolutely,
I would want to know that it was like earned as opposed to, how some things are around here. It's like a popularity contest.
That was probably my favorite song from Nothing. Besides, I really like Manic and a Race to Hell too. You know what that's about?
No,
it's basically.
You may have said it at a show one time.
I think it was just it's not so much about, but it was inspired by Fight Club. Because it's a split personality.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're talking to each other kind of deal. I'm in love with myself. I can't stand you. In the lyrics.
Nice.
So it's basically inspired by that. But Worldwide Novocaine is basically about addicting to electronics.
Yeah.
That's our Novocaine, man.
Nice.
And it's just getting worse. Yeah,
yes, it's very true. I feel like as much as I hate to admit it, there's times where it feels like I can't put it down or I can't.
I'm right there with you.
I can't get off of it and just go to sleep. I'm like,
Oh, I can definitely go to sleep, but I mean, it's like you're checking your phone constantly. I turn off my notifications at this point.
Yes, same. I'll turn them off on all my socials because every 5 seconds, so-and-so looked at somebody's post. We want you to know about it. Like, go look at what post. Like, I don't care.
I guarantee you there's ads for, like, podcasts or microphones when we look on our phones because they're just listening. You know? It's insane.
So your current main project is Old Man Jones.
Yes, sir.
And how did that whole thing come into being? Because it's kind of like almost like your solo project, but...
Well, it started out that way, where I mean, obviously, From Nothing wasn't around anymore. It was winding down, so to speak. And I had these songs. If you listen to like Old Man Jones' first album, Crashing Down, that's only out on digital everywhere. And if you listen to a couple of those songs, they could have easily been From Nothing songs.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to be.
I noticed that with a couple of them, that they
like
were very similar styles.
Save Me was one, and You Still Don't Know would have been one. And You Still Don't Know is actually one of my favorite songs to play with Old Man. Actually, we just had a show in Frederick, and we did it, and it got a good response. I was like, hell yeah. So... it started out, I had all these songs, and, the way From Nothing worked was, I obviously did a lot of songwriting, and the guys, I'm not going to be like, this is the song we're doing, here it is, I'm like, I got this riff, no, I don't like it, no, I don't like it, and that got to be more and more and more. I'm like, I'm not wasting these anymore, I'm just going to record them and do it on something else, and scale them back a little bit, not as heavy. And after a while, I had about 10 songs. And I'm like, I don't. Called Kyle and Chris. I'm like, you guys want to do this? I'm ready to record. It's just going to be me. And they're like, well, who's playing bass? I'm like, nobody. He's like, Kyle's like, I'll do it. I'm like, absolutely. And believe it or not, there's not a real drummer on that album. It's just Easy Drummer. And they do such an amazing job making it sound like it is a real drummer.
Yeah, with the right
yeah.
The right amount of with the right ear and stuff, like you can make
I
them
mean,
sound
there's
really
some
good.
songs where
There's ones that I've done with Tony where we'll put like temporary fake drums and it sounds really good, but we'll be like, yeah, but we kind of want real drums on it.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, and it might happen down the road. I mean, I'm 5 songs deep into a new album right now that I'm not even haven't really released a couple singles, and I'm like, should we do a new real drum? If not, we'll wait. We'll wait. But next time, maybe the next one or next couple of songs, because our drummer now in Old Man Jones, Eric Holt, he's really good.
Nice.
He's actually got a punk background, man. And he's the only punk guy that could be really where you need him to be at any moment. He's the way he plays. He's really good. So we never know. I might switch over to that one time just to, give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something about having a real drummer. Like, there's just a lot of nuance that you're not going to get with. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, electronic drums can sound great and all, but
I don't know if you ever messed with the program Easy Drummer. It's insane. You can pick your kit, the style, where the mics are placed.
Ableton, which has got
it's
like
insane.
a million different kinds of kits on there, and then so like every time I'm demoing out a song, I'll be like, let me just try like a weird sounding kit, see how it sounds. So
and Kyle will do stuff we just released a song called "Try Something New," and just at the very end you hear cymbals. The guy's like, he's done, and I'm like, that's so cool. That gives it the human element to it, I don't want it to be machine. We're not 9 Inch Nails. I mean, that stuff's obviously you could do that without a real drummer as well. I want it to sound acoustic, but there maybe put a flaw in there every now and then. Who knows?
Right.
To give it a more live feel to it.
And you've definitely been pretty busy because you've put out 2 full Old Man Jones albums already.
Yes.
And then you say you're working on your 3rd.
Yes.
I've listened to some of the newer singles. I mean, you got the one you did with Brad.
That was very successful, man. We did a good job promoting that on Spotify. It's actually one of the most successful songs I've been a part of on Spotify. Yeah. And that was just such a weird. That thing snowballed really fast. Like the album I'm working on, I'm thinking about calling it Harco for Harford County.
Yeah.
And I want to have people that live in Harford County appear on it. Like Benny's been on the new album Shine Your Light. Obviously Chris and Kyle are on it.
Yeah. So you got Chris credited as well.
Yeah, he did the newest song, Try Something New. I said, well, he's playing on it anyway, and I'm like, dude, we need Eddie Van Halen whammy bar solo for this song, and dude, he knocked it out of the park. He says he did it in 1 or 2 tries too, but back to the Brad thing. I mean, I was like, dude, I got this song idea. What do you think of this? And time I heard back from him, he done had lyrics written. I'm like, okay, cool. I thought he was just gonna play or maybe do backup vocals. He had lyrics done. I'm like, dude, awesome. I'd rather you sing, And I don't even think I did backup on that song. I think it's all him. Yeah, I didn't sing anything on there. I just did all the guitars and.
Yeah, I mean, and he sounded great on it.
Yeah,
great.
It's a good song. He did all the artwork for that. He did a really good job. He's actually really good at that too.
It's natural that we have you on here because I've had Chris Mooneyhan on here and
that's the one I
Brad
watched.
on here too.
That's probably the one I
just need to get Kyle on here and I'll have
Kyle's
the whole
great,
squad.
Man. Kyle's very talented, man. Chris and Kyle's both talented people. They know music. Like I'm like the guy that picks it up and will make it work. They'll figure out what I'm doing. I gotta ask what I just did. You know what I mean? What do you call that?
Yeah, it's kind of like me with cars. Like I couldn't tell you how it works, but you just get it and you drive it. And
I mean, I know music and a little bit of theory and all that, but Chris I think he's got like a minor or a major in music.
Yeah.
Like he could orchestrate stuff. It's crazy. And Kyle knows all that stuff. He's a big pedal guy too, man. You want to figure out a pedal you want for your board, ask Kyle.
They used to have that or I don't know if he still does. The, like,
yeah,
the
he
YouTube
used-
channel where he
Yes, I don't think he still
reviewed
does
guitar
it. But
pedals, but
I know he's got a lot of pedals. If you ever go to studio, he's got a beautiful
I've been in
studio.
a few studios like that
Yeah.
where they just have them like in piles. It's like you should put them all on a wall and like
That's
have like a patch thing. You just patch through.
He has his
That'd be
board
pretty
by the
sick.
size of his table, and then he's got little ones built, and he's got them all over the woods. It's impressive. If you went to their studio, all you got to do is show up, man. He's got guitars out the ass and pedals, and
Yeah, they're definitely on the list. I want
Yeah.
to work with them at some point. But
it's a beautiful studio. They just moved to Jarrettsville like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's right in his basement. It's big.
That's cool. So another song I was checking out was Hillbilly Beach. Gave me Going to California vibes by Zeppelin.
Nice. I'll take that all day long, man. We struggled with that song. I was
Yeah.
ready to throw it in the trash. Yeah.
What was so difficult about it, would you say?
That was probably the hardest one to put drums to, and we were like, the next thing was going to be to get a real drummer, and then they took care of doing that. I think getting the acoustic, because the original thing for this album was going to be like all acoustic, and I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't. I can't. I'm not. It's not my blood to make an all acoustic album. So my goal was to maybe do like a Zeppelin 3. 3 or 4 or 5 acoustic songs and the rest electric. And that was one of the acoustic songs. And I'm like, no, this needs to rock. And then the acoustic, I guess I found out real fast that recording acoustic is way harder than you think it is when you're trying to orchestrate it with electric, because especially the way I'm strumming. And it was just offbeat. And we're like, we'll just take it out of here. And I think the saving moment for that song was one, Kyle got the drums right finally, and then I had to go back and record electric again, and then I had all these different ideas, and I'm like, well, Chris needs to put the lap steel guitar in this, and that saved that song, I think.
Nice.
I think 100%. If that didn't have it on it, I would have probably scrapped the song. I mean, it's a fun song. It's a real place over by my house. It's a little beach where people go and jump in, and all of a sudden people got wind of it, and they go there and drink and smoke, and you could drive past it any summertime. There's probably people out there hanging out. It's literally might be the size of this room. It's not big for a beach, that is.
So your newest song is "Try Something New," which just came out in December.
Yes.
It's definitely a good rocking song.
Try different. Yeah.
Try something new is a great motto, I think, for life in general.
Yeah, I would agree.
When you write songs like this, like do you kind of have like chords and a melody? Like, do you kind of sit down? Could you like sit down and play it on a guitar all the way through, or do you?
No, I definitely could. Yeah.
Okay.
That riff in that song, which is, one person said it sounds like Rat. Somebody said it sounds like Van Halen. I'm like, it's just a riff. It's really just a really simple riff. It just sounds intricate when you add another guitar over top of it. And I had that riff for 2 years, and I didn't know what to do with it, and it finally just came to me one day. Do you ever have epiphanies when you're writing? Like, you'll be writing a song, and then all of a sudden it's done, and like, oh my God, why didn't I do that the first time? That was that. I just was like writing and writing and writing. I'm like, oh my God, I think I just finished this inadvertently.
Yeah, I've been kind of having this thing lately where I've been having these like ideas for these like open E style type riffs.
Sure, yeah.
And like I just had a few of them, and I was like, all right, I turned one into a song. Then I had another one, and I was messing with that. And then I had another one, and then I was like I don't just want to have like a bunch of songs that are like the same. And so I was like, well, actually, the one I just had the one riff, so I took the other riff and put them together and made it into one song.
I've done that.
And that kind of made it like feel a little bit more unique.
I mean, the whole point of Old Man Jones is 3 chords of the truth. And always, the funny thing is when Eric came in to play drums, I said, look, the hardest part you're going to have learning the songs is remembering which name of the songs, because they all sound the same. It all drop D. There's some songs in A and B, but I mean, it's just fun. And the point of doing it that way is I've never been intricate when it comes to that. And you could write 5 songs with the same 3 chords and make them differently. And I think that's a talent in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, or you could be the Ramones and make them all sound the same, but people still like it. So, I mean, there's different ways. I was when I started writing music for the first time, I think 93 is when I really came into my own writing. Maybe a little before that. But when I actually saw the Smashing Pumpkins open for the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 91. And I was like, never heard of them, didn't know who they were. I saw a girl bass player. I'm like, that's awesome. I got to go. I walked up front. I was in a college in D.C. And I'm like, these guys are amazing. And it wasn't so much the way they played, because that too. It was the way every song just did a wave. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to be heavy. I want to calm it down. I want to bring it back up. I want to calm it down. And it takes you on a journey doing a song that way.
Dynamics, man.
Dynamics, yeah. And I think some Old Man Jones does do that. And I think the more and more we did Old Man Jones stuff and they were getting involved, it almost became, okay, we got to make it an Old Man Jones song and put some dynamic to it. And that's what Chris and Kyle are really good at, suggesting. Let's do this or try this.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say about a lot of times I see a younger band and they seem like a bunch of talented kids, but everyone's just wailing on their instruments the whole time. So there's no real push or pull.
Yep. No, I hear you. I used to think I needed and I went back to a 2-channel amp, but I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I'm playing live. I'm using my volume knob for different things. Like, oh, look, I'm maturing. I can use my volume knob to go a little lower here. It's like I could have done that 20 years ago. Never thought about it, I've been using the clean or dirty channel for my amp. But it's just...
And you can get away with that in a lot of instances, especially if you've got, the right supporting, instruments and stuff. Having a second guitar player is always nice, too.
And that's the other thing. When From Nothing, we started out as a 3-piece. I've never been in a band until we added Mike and From Nothing in 2015 or 16. It was a year and a half into being From Nothing. And it was definitely a change for me, but it was a better change all around because you sound fuller. And then Old Man Jones's first show, I guess 2 years ago, I guess it might have been longer than that, it's scary. We had 3 guitars. It was me on guitar, Kyle on guitar, Chris on guitar. We got a guy named Colin that played bass, who's in Made for Meteors now, which is a really cool band. And I was really fun. I was working that out. I didn't even have to play. I just, I ended up doing a solo or two, but I mean, that was really wild having that many people contributing live. But now Kyle's on bass and Chris is on guitar and leads. And that's the other thing. I always did leading From Nothing. I don't have to. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It just ended up being that way. And Chris takes most of the leads. I'm like, this is fun, man. I could focus more on singing. I don't have to hurry up and, jump down and get ready to play a lead.
I always wished I was better with leads.
Me too.
I can do, there's times where I'll practice a guitar part, and then when I get to it live, it's I miss that first note, and then I'm just rolling down a hill trying to correct. But
no, I do.
I
my biggest thing is I write my leads. You know what I mean? There's a couple songs where we did 20 takes and he chopped it up, and I'm I don't want to do that. We could still chop it up, but I want to know what I did. And I know there's a song on Shine Your Light, God and Gasoline that Kyle wrote and sang, which it was one of my favorite songs. I wanted to put that on the album. And he wrote it, and I'm like, yes, I like this song. The concept's good. The lyrics are great. And I just said, let me just do some different stuff behind it to make it, an Old Man Jones song. And that was the one solo that I wanted to kind of mimic, because he had a recording of it, of his old band. And I'm like, I'm not going to do the same thing, because that guy really did some cool stuff. And that was the one time he did 20 takes and he pieced it together. And I'm like, I got to go learn that now, don't I? Because I want to play that live. So I'll have to do that eventually. But I usually write them, and they stick better. You know what I mean? You remember them better. Yeah. If you just, Kurt Hammett from Metallica, you ever hear an interview with him, he'll just wing it sometimes. If he's, and then you got to imagine going back and have to learn all that stuff. I'd rather have it ahead of time.
So you've got basically working towards a new album, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you planning to continue to release singles as you come out, or are you just?
I think one more and then just hold it. You know what I mean? You know when you write that song, like, oh, this is be the first song on the album. Then the next song goes like, okay, this one's better than that one. So it's like, I might release Poor Me. It's a really good. Chris plays lap steel on that too.
Nice.
And it's a really good song. It's a lot of acoustic. There might be like possibly 3 to 4 just doing the same 3 chords, but made it really full. And Kyle's doing something completely different on the acoustic on that one. But it's a good song, but it's a very generic-y but different good song for Old Man Jones. It's got some electric to it as well.
Cool.
Other than that, I think I'm gonna wait.
Any other shows on the books coming up?
Yeah, actually, you mind? I feel horrible. I don't remember the name
Dude,
of it.
I'm the same way, man. Like, I'll be like, all right, I got 3 gigs this weekend. All right, well, where are you playing?
Yeah, I gotta worry about
where are you
one.
playing next? Well, I got to pull out my phone and know what's next weekend. Like,
It's Mooresburger. I think they're starting to book bands there with, I think Frankie. Is
I
doing
played
it.
there last year. It's a cool little spot.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So I think March. Where is it? It's pretty bad.
Sometime in March.
No, I have it. It's in front of me. This is when cameras come in handy, right? Jesus, where's the date? March 14th, Friday. It's a Friday. It's a band called The Odd Even is headlining it, and then it's us, Glass Fault, and Red's Motel. So book your plans for March 14th in Mooresburg Inn or Tavern,
right.
whatever it is.
Sounds good. March 14th.
Yes.
Mooresburger is a cool spot.
It looked cool. I saw some videos.
They've got like the bar. It's basically like I can't even think of like a place to compare it to, because you kind of like there's a bar on one side and then on the other side of the wall is like the venue space.
Is it like Zen West a little? Maybe?
A little bit like
yeah.
that.
That place
Whereas
is
like
cool.
the bar in Zen West is like in a whole separate room. Like
Right.
it's like if the building's like this, it's like split down like 70-25, and then like the bar is on the
Nice.
one side and then the
Very cool.
and-
I'm looking forward to it. I want to play as many different places as we can. I think it's funny that like all last year we never played out, didn't have a drummer, and it's like we've gotten 3 shows in 3 months this year, and it's not even February. What's February today?
yeah.
But it's like, hey, we could get 10 or 12 a year. That'd be tickle pink. It'd be fun. I love playing live.
All right, so one of the things I like to do to kind of wrap it up is I just got like some fun little questions I like to throw at people.
I'm
just
ready.
little like little brain teaser type things. So my first question is there a song that you thought you knew the words to, but then like when you learned the words to it, you were like, I was way off?
Yeah. You mean recently or like
Just like in general, like what's the first song you think of?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Is like I should pick one as an adult because I should know better.
I mean, every time I listen to Pour Some Sugar on Me, I hear him say, looking like a lover with a red iPhone. And it's like radar phone or something like that.
You know, it's funny. When Bush first came out, me and my wife, girlfriend at the time, what was it? Everything's in. When he goes, try to see you once my way. We had no idea what he was saying there. And I said, did he just say Chachi? So we didn't know. Like we were like, what did he say there? And you didn't have the internet in the early '90s, you know. So
Yeah,
I think we had no idea. I don't remember what we thought he was saying, but it was just that simple. Try to see it once my way.
Yeah.
And now I hear it, I'm like, God, am I stupid?
I mean, there's so many songs that like, especially when I was doing the cover band stuff, and I would like learn the words, and I'd be like, "There's no way they're saying that there." And then I listened to it, and I'm like, "Oh no, they're definitely saying that." I've been processing it wrong all these years.
Well, it's funny. I never knew what he was saying, but I went on this downward wormhole listening to like older like Commodores and stuff. And Easy's an amazing song. It's one of my favorite songs. It's like guilty pleasure, non-genre that I do. And when he says, I begged, stole, and I borrowed, and he says it so fast, I'm like, I didn't know he said that, especially with the Mike Patton Faith No More version. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sing along. I better look these lyrics up. I'm like driving. Got the phone here, like, beg, stole, and I'm like trying to see what he says. So that might be one, too.
Yeah.
I would have not known what he said.
It's also funny, like if you maybe you haven't heard a song for a while, or maybe you just something happened in life and you hear a song and you get like latched on a specific lyric that hits
Sure.
like differently.
I mean, I'm
Because
sure.
now maybe you understand what they meant by it.
Well, what's the one song that everybody thought he was saying, wrapped up like a douche?
Ah, yes, Blinded by the Light.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen wrote that too,
Yeah.
I think, didn't he? And God, I don't remember the band. Who's the band that did it?
I think they were called Manfred
Mann. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Earth Band or something like that.
Who didn't think he was saying wrapped up like a douche? Revved up like a deuce, which,
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, they really leaned into it. So
Yeah.
We're going to be honest here. All right, if you could wake up tomorrow with a new skill, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I mean, honestly, I mean, if does it have to be musical?
I mean, it could be any skill, really.
Be able to fix stuff around my house, like being
Just
good at
general handyman skills.
Yes, carpentry, drywall. I gotta pay for that stuff.
I mean,
Yeah,
in my line of work, event stuff, like, I'm mostly working with technical equipment, but every now and then,
sure.
I got to cut some wood or something like that. And, like, when I started, I was like, I don't really do this stuff. But
Yeah.
then there's times where it's like, well, this needs to get done, and there's no one else around. So
Really? Okay.
I'm just going to go do it. So,
Yeah, just in general. Like, I guess I think I could do it. I don't think I'd do it well.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
think-
like if I had to, like, build a wall, I don't know if I'd trust myself to,
Yeah.
like, do that. But, like, just to, like, cut some wood or
I think
stuff
I would
like that.
spend all the money doing it and then not do it enough and have to turn around and hire somebody to do
Yeah,
it
so
again.
then do it wrong and then be like, shit,
Yeah,
this is
I should have just
not
hired
right.
somebody
If
to
only
do
there
it.
was a professional.
Exactly.
All right, what
Measure-
is the worst job you've ever had?
It's like weird. When I was younger, I bounced around, and my parents never really made me get a job, but I guess to learn with a little bit of responsibility. When I was 13, I worked at a crab place across the street from my house that steamed crabs, and at the end of the night, I had to pick all the crab shit out of the pot, and I'm sure that's not great for a 13-year-old. Then I used to have to. I got a job with my buddy when we were 15, lining baseball fields. That kind of sucked because we had to sit around and wait for the games to be done.
Yeah,
Other than that, I've never really had a job that I hated. I've been with my company that I work for now like 27, 8 years. I've been
Nice.
there a long time. So they haven't gotten rid of me yet. I guess I'm doing something right.
that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I still here? And it's like, all right, I guess I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
All right, have you ever had a like musical fantasy, like playing with a certain band or performing at like a certain kind of music festival?
Like a fantasy?
Yeah, just like something along them lines.
I mean, I think we all have those. Like, you know what I mean? I think the most recent one I was thinking about was I always said I wanted to open for Clutch because they're one of my favorite bands, and they're
Yeah.
a semi-local band.
You
They're
guys,
from Maryland.
you guys would fit well with it.
Yeah, I was like our biggest, like the old band would fit well. The new band might. And we were always like, dude, we would always make the joke of, dude, if we ever get to open for Clutch, I don't care what we're doing. You're canceling it. We're doing it.
Yeah, everyone.
And I had this
everything you
envision
do.
that I could like do a song with them, like because I'd just be badass to be able to do or sing or play a song
Yeah.
with them. It would be cool as shit.
Yeah, I
Gotta-
mean, I've thought about that a lot, but more I think about like, man, it'd be really cool to play like Glastonbury or
Yeah,
like a cool,
I mean,
real cool festival like that. That's like just legendary.
yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody.
Even if it's like 2:00 on the Sunday,
Right.
Like,
I mean, it would be a dream come true to play to 20,000 people. That would be amazing. I'm pretty sure I'd gain at least one or two fans if I got the chance to do that. So, that'd be awesome.
All right,
I'll take that one.
Yeah. All right, one more. What's
Yes.
what's an album you could listen to on repeat?
Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking,
Yeah.
all day long.
I could
and
do
they're not
Mountain
even one of my
Song.
favorite bands, but that is the album that, for me, stands the test of time. If you play it right now, it sounds like it came out today. It's just a badass album. It's innovating, you know what I mean? They were doing their thing in California in 86, 87, 88, where everybody was doing hair metal, and they just put out, that album is just timeless to me.
Nice.
If I had to take one album, I'm taking it.
Nice.
I could listen to it all day long. And I'm a big Zeppelin fan. I'm a big Beatles fan. Clutch, all those guys. That album's coming with me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, thank you for doing this, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hopefully I'll catch you soon.
Yes, sir.
I'll do my best, but I've got like a pretty busy music schedule myself.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's awesome, man. If you're playing it, you're doing what you love. That's more important than anything, really.
Yeah, I've like, it sucks because I do love going to see other people play, but then there's times
It's
where
hard.
it's like,
I mean, that was our biggest thing, even in From Nothing. We're all dads. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't want to go see bands live, but I mean, and it was almost like an event for us. Like, oh my God, we get to go see our friends' bands play, and we all go out together. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's a little different now because my kids can stay home themselves, so
Yeah.
I get out a little more. And I can't wait. I'll see you on the 20th at Red Records, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'll be there doing the Mog live with Brad. Brad might swing by
Nice.
this weekend too. We'll do a
Very
little.
cool. But yeah, I
episode
would
with
definitely
him.
be there. I haven't missed one yet, so. And then I really have no excuse not to be there. It's 10, 15 minutes from my house. So.
Nice, yeah. This will be my first time going to Red Records too,
It's
which
awesome.
I've been wanting.
Those guys are great, man.
Yeah.
They really are. It's like my second home sometimes.
I've been wanting to get like a vinyl record player. Cause,
You should. It's separations on it's so much better.
I have some vinyl records here. There's a couple of my friends that did this thing. There's a studio up in New York called Least of All Records, and
Nice.
they do a thing where like an artist will basically they'll get like basically 20. You could have like 20 people can basically pay for a recording, and
Oh, wow.
you'll basically do like 20, like you'll do like these live performances, and each one's like a live performance that's specifically dedicated to the person that paid for it or
and
whatever.
they press it on vinyl?
And then they press it on
That's
vinyl
pretty
and ship
cool.
it to people, which is really neat. So
That
I've
is
had a
kinda
couple
neat.
friends do that, and I bought them, and so I have the vinyl records,
Nice.
but nothing to play them on.
Not to keep this going, I don't want to hold you up, but I really wanted to put Shine Your Light on vinyl, and it's like, it costs, it's a lot of money, and then you got to factor in, are you going to play out enough to sell vinyl? Because they're a little more, you gotta sell more of those to get your money back
Yeah.
than you do, and then it's like, I really think hard that the third album, I'm probably going to put it on vinyl. I want to hear my music on vinyl.
What's cool about that though is I feel like a lot of record shops will
Oh, and the Red would
like
sell
you
it
could
for
go
me.
and be
Yeah.
like, hey, like can
They
you sell
would.
that? Which
As a matter of fact, when you go on the 20th, bring your CD because they'll do that too.
is nice.
Yeah, buyers is up there, and then I don't know if you know Benny Clout. You know Benny, right?
I don't know if I've met him or not.
Well, he's put out an album called London Fog, and I played on like 5 songs. Like he had me do all the leads and stuff on there, and that's on vinyl. It's just so cool hearing that. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I'm listening to myself and Benny on vinyl. I thought that was cool. And Weatherly produced that album too. Did a really good job. A great album. Benny's a great songwriter. I actually should go home and listen to that tonight in case he ever wants to jam to it.
Nice.
Learn it. Yes, sir.
All right, John. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Old Man Jones has music out on all digital streaming services. Check out their new album, Shine Your Light, as well as their new singles, Try Something New and Come Undone. Thank you, John, for joining me on this podcast. Keep rocking.